I'm back today, joined by Mick Parkin, who returns at UFC 304 in Manchester. Super stoked for this card. We did a podcast when the fights were coming together, right? On Violent Money to predict kind of dream matchups for everyone who we figured was were going to be on the card. Obviously, with your connection with Tom, but also when you fought, it seemed like you were always going to be part of this card, no matter when it happened. Manchester, we were just waiting for the date to be confirmed, and we kind of made the argument for you getting a top 15 matchup, right? Three in a row. You
Yeah,
would expect in the heavyweight division that to be in and around that mix. Of course, you're fighting Lukasz Brzeski, who is not ranked, but I imagine for you, especially from your post-fight interview when you beat Mohammed Usman, it was get me on this card. Just give me a name in Manchester and let's do it.
yeah, exactly that. I was just really wanting to be honest. Obviously, I've only ever fought in London or the Apex. So it was great to fight in London the first time, made my debut. It's meant to have a crowd. It's even better when it's a home crowd. More people can come watch it who you know personally. Uh, the atmosphere is amazing for them as well. And then obviously two title fights on this show as well. It's a really, really big card. It's a great opportunity, and it's like on my doorstep as well, which is even better. No travel. So yeah, I asked to be honest. I said highly likely. I waited a few weeks, and then like I was hearing things about other people getting matched up, so I was like, oh. So then we pressed again. Says, oh, any chance? And then he got back with us in a week and just says, oh yeah, this is your opponent. So yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, Whaley got. I'm sure I got matched with him in the very first fight in the UFC, but I think he was injured at the time. That's the very first thing I got offered. I'm pretty much sure because when I got offered him again, I'd already watched him, and that's why. So yeah, it comes around full circle again. But yeah, I'm really happy.
I was going through his record earlier just to see which fights to go back and watch. And I'll be honest, when I saw that he is, I believe he's Polish, right? I'm not wrong
Yeah.
on that. When I saw Polish heavyweight, I was surprised to not see Phil de Vries on that record. That
Yeah,
caught me
well,
off guard.
I think Phil's fought a few people from his gym. I think Phil
Right.
mentioned so. Yeah, but yeah, that's what I thought. Usually, this Polish guy. He mustn't have been in KSW, or he definitely would have fought Phil.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so people know, how long will it? I mean, I don't know if you've been anywhere super close to the venue because it is a little bit like it's not. I mean, it's pretty close to Manchester City Centre. It's walking distance, right? Like you can do it, but how long will it take you to get to the venue when you say that it's on your doorstep? Because I imagine the UFC did used to do quite a lot of shows like up north, but
Yeah,
it's been a long time. Obviously, they did Liverpool and
yeah,
Manchester, at UFC 204. But I mean, that is 100 numbered events ago. It's been a while.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. So I live Sunderland, the north east, so it's like 2.5 hour drive. So it's so close. Like the train again is like a 2 hour train, something like that. So just good. Like it's just closer than London. Be a lot cheaper for my friends that to get there. Like I said, it's easy, and it's even better because obviously the time it's at 11 o'clock at night start and like a 5 finish. I've a lot of people I know that work the next day and stuff. Like Monday they're at work, so a lot of my friends it's even better. So close, they're just going to travel straight down, watch the show, and travel straight back in the first train like 6, 7 in the morning, and then go to work the next day. So that's crazy. So yeah, it's like so close. Like when I go to America, I like to go out a week before and get acclimatized for a couple of days and stuff like that. While here, I can literally go down the Tuesday of the fight week and just say drive there straight to the hotel and then it's fine. So yeah, it's so close and it's awesome. I've seen you great big arena as well. They're fighting.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that me and you have spoken about every time we've caught up before one of your fights. The kind of the timing of you getting to the UFC and Tom's ascendancy up the heavyweight ladder, which means you have this great training setup now up north. I mean, literally just today, I feel like it's a fun little surprise whenever I see those posts. I'll have a scan through and go, oh, who's joined? Because
Yeah,
there's always someone new that I'm like, oh, that guy's there
yeah,
now. And then literally today, I see one of my favorite fighters, Renier Derrida, is
yeah,
training with you guys at the moment. Like it literally is like there's a new top big guy coming down constantly, it seems. And if not, you've got, at least 6 or 7 guys, I imagine, who are routinely there every single time, who are all either massive people or like elite martial artists. So it is incredible. And you mentioned, the fact that you can just go down on the Tuesday of fight week. And it feeling familiar. You're also going to be going with, I mean, at least Tom and Modestus, who you train
yeah.
with on a regular schedule at the moment. So it literally couldn't feel any more like routine, I guess.
Yeah, it's amazing down here. I'm literally down here now. We can travel down this morning, just trained. Yeah, like I said, it's the same for me. You walk in, then like they're like, oh, that's one FC guy here today, or there'll be a PFL guy. You get trained with them. It's just good to have different bodies. That's all you need for big guys sometimes as well. You're lucky to get one at your gym. Like I said, I've got Big Phil and Paul Elliott as well, who we train with all the time now. But just good to have different bodies, different looks, different sparring partners. Like I said, like the guy I fight might be nothing like Phil or Paul, so it's good to change it about and stuff like that. And just like I said, it's just so hard having big guys even on top of you, even if they haven't fought at a high level, even just being huge and
Yeah.
knowing a little bit of grappling and being strong can be so hard. It's different sport to like smaller guys fighting, I think, because you couldn't get away with having like a little fellow who wasn't as high level as somebody else training, but because we're so big, the techniques are so different and stuff we've got to drill. So yeah, it's amazing to train down here. And yeah, three of us fighting on the card. Mint. The first time I was at UFC London, Tom fought there, and it was just amazing to be around fight week. It was so chill, like going out for food, walking around London. It's just so easy going, just stuff that was doing. And like I said, they helped us out so much with us not fighting the UFC again for stuff I could use. And obviously now I've had 3 fights in the UFC. I know everything myself. Go around. And yeah, like I said, so close, and all three of us been training really hard for this fight. It's going to be an amazing performance by all of us, I think.
Obviously, I can't imagine this is something that would have popped onto your radar because I don't think most fighters tend to think about this kind of thing. But Alexander Volkov, when he got his win over Pavlovich the other week, is now the leader of the most wins, the most consecutive wins in the
Yeah.
UFC record in the heavyweight division, right?
Don't worry, Phil told us straight away. Phil
Did
told
he
us straight
really
away.
straight on
Yeah.
it? He's keeping an eye
Yeah,
out.
Phil must have watched it or saw it. He messaged you like he's brought your record. I was like a little bit different when you're fighting top 5 guys and winning 4 records than me. So his is a bit more impressive. But yeah, he was great, wasn't he?
Yeah, a fantastic performance, right? But of course, that is generating tons of headlines, and rightfully so. It was a great performance, and I think a lot of people thought that Pavlovich was going to get the win in that one.
Yeah.
But that's 4 in a row, and he's the leader in this division. And if you get the win, obviously in Manchester, that takes you to 4 in a row as well. And
Yeah.
whilst again, you said it yourself, he's fighting Sergey Pavlovich, it's going to generate a lot of headlines off the fact that
Yeah.
he's fighting Sergey Pavlovich in a co-main event. But that is crazy to think about for a second and be like, you are in terms of winning streak right up there. I imagine that no matter what, if you get the win here, it'll be a ranked opponent next, probably back in
Yeah.
America, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But could you have really, thought that this UFC career so far was going to go much better? It definitely feels like we've seen a lot of improvements each fight. We'll talk about the Usman fight in a minute because I think again you showed definitely that you've improved from the UFC debut, like just steps every single time. Like the trajectory must be kind of crazy when I'm sure for you it just you take it fight by fight, but then when Phil's coming at you and going, Volkov just overtook you, and Volkov obviously is like one of the biggest names in the division, a bit of a legend of the heavyweight division
Yeah.
over the last like 10 years. It kind of puts it into perspective of like I'm really not that far away from these guys now.
Yeah, like I said, obviously when I was training and fighting like local show, people were telling us you were good and stuff like that, and then I have a little bit of belief. Then I started training with some high level guys, and I was doing okay. I was just getting better. Then I thought, oh, I must be half decent myself. And then like to just get the UFC to get in the shout for the contender series. Like you always think, oh, like I'll keep fighting, I'll get some big show, and everyone's saying heavyweights, you get it early and stuff like that. But you still maybe half don't believe it a little bit, or you think,
Mm.
oh, like it'll come, but when, and then to get that was like an amazing opportunity, and then to win, then get the sign in the UFC, and like do that what like everybody dreams to do was amazing. Then to make me debut, I felt like it was perfect scenario stuff like that, and yeah, like you said, I'm just taking a fight by fight. I can get better at everything. There's so much stuff I can improve on, like from my first fight, my second fight, even the last fight. And yeah, I just keep trying to get improved everywhere. Maybe it's me grappling, me striking, or I've done something wrong. Maybe you can push a finish a bit more in that scenario. So yeah, I just keep trying to get better. Like I said, the win streaks and that, like that's great to keep winning. Obviously, everyone wants to keep winning. If you could win forever, that'd be great. But yeah, I just think the UFC have been really fair with matching us. Obviously, it's the greatest show in the world for MMA. I get to travel to America and like I've got a mint life. Like even traveling down here, I'm here alone this week, but usually I'm here with Phil and my friend Paul. Last week we're just traveling to train. I've got such a great life now. I'm just traveling training with my friend. It's like amazing. Like that's all I do. I literally just get up in the morning, uh, train in the afternoon, go see my friends, train. That's literally that's it. It's like such a great life.
Yeah. Talk about the last trip out to America when you did get the win over Mohammed Usman. Literally, the one thing I think that made the fight closer, you acknowledged this as well after the fight, was that shot he landed quite early on.
Yeah,
That was probably the most significant strike of the round, and that gave him the round, and then that's why it became close kind of later on. But one of the things, rewatching that fight, I remembered that and I went back and watched it, but after that point, I'm sure that you picked up on something and
yeah,
were able to make the read and stay a bit more active with your movement and stuff like that to avoid that shot again. But it I found it strange that in the gym that you've got, right, you've got you, Tom, and Phil. And when I think of heavyweights that don't take a lot of damage, you guys are right up there because it is so hard to not take damage in heavyweight MMA because one shot can
yeah,
end the fight at any point. And yet, all three of you guys have been through so many fights where you don't seem to take much damage. Like literally, the Usman one is probably the most prominent example I
yeah,
can think of for you. And even then, it's like one shot right near the start of the fight, and then from the rest of it, you kind of took over and stuff. Like
yeah.
how is that partly because of you guys training together? Like, has your style changed since you've been training with these top guys?
Yeah, I think it's you train at such a high level, you've got to be on your sharpest and stuff like that, and you're all pushing each other to get better every time. Obviously, Phil's style is just grappling, like he takes very little punches and dishes a lot out. Tom's so fast, and like them little gloves, you've got to be so respectful of heavy guys. Like I always think this to myself, I would fight somebody from off the street who's never had a fight in his life, and it would still knock us out. I feel like, and them tiny little gloves, like it's all it takes one windmill. Um, Back to the Usman fight, like I watched him, I remember thinking he's definitely just like maybe he's not as polished technical wise as me. I didn't think, but I definitely knew he was a specimen, and I felt like. He wasn't like super fast as in like, oh, geez, he just was explosive as he come from. It was
Mm.
nothing, and it was like, boom. I got hit with that big right hand straight away, and to be honest, looking back, it's something that could have finished the fight. I probably shouldn't have been hit with it in the first place. It was a bit one why you get hit and you're like, oh, really didn't get hit with another one of them. That was stupid to get hit by. My coach Andrew Fisher as well after the first round, he was like, oh, you're standing quite close in boxing range and your hands are quite low. He's like, if you're miles out, he's like, do what you want, but he's in that range. He's like, you've got to have your chin tucked behind your shoulders a little bit more. So that was the little adjustment. Maybe he's in the fight and switches on a little bit more. So yeah, like the only thing that was shocking in that fight is I expect him to wrestle a little bit more, especially towards the end of the round. Especially when I thought he maybe thought he was losing that. When I've watched, he usually pinches the end of the second and third round wrestling. But I don't know if it was I was doing something that put him off. The leg kicks might have put him off, or if he just thought I was a better grappler than him. I'm not sure. That's the only thing that surprised us. So it went to game plan, everything to a T. But yeah, I felt like he was explosive. He was quite yeah, a bit unorthodox the way he would fall in with his punches a little bit, but they can definitely land because he falls in from such a range. But like I said, I hit with that one punch, I think, and then one that cut was out. The cut was, I think, a little bit later. But other than that, they were all grazes. Isn't even that big punch. I remember getting hitting. I remember him hitting us, and then me thinking, oh, I was okay within like a second or two. And I think I tagged him when he stepped off. But I just remember thinking to myself, oh, like you recover now, but didn't be getting hit by any stupid shots. Because like I says, that could have been quite easily him knocking me out, him coming away with the win, and him like pushing on for his next career. That's how easy it is. A heavyweight sometimes you don't get like that lucky, I suppose. So my first thing's always in a fight, just think about defense. You don't want to be getting hit off anybody. If you can hit them and not get hit, that's the main thing. But don't take any silly little shots where the big guys and them little gloves, like I said, it's just won't change the fight so much.
Yeah, I think that fight was a perfect kind of example of why your style is so effective in the heavyweight division because, like you said, Usman's striking style is a little bit unorthodox. Maybe is a nice word
Yeah,
to use. Like he
yeah,
does tend to throw like a little bit weird timing and like
yeah,
it doesn't tend to set some of the shots up so much, but in a way that is kind of his strength is that it is hard to predict. So then to
yeah,
take that shot and then to kind of just systematically go back to okay, let's go back to the game plan and keep working away. And I thought it was a great performance. When you talk about heavyweights and the ability to end a fight in a moment's notice. I think something that is going to be a big buzz around the heavyweight division, whether it happens or not, is talks of Alex Pereira maybe going up to heavyweight. I'm
yeah,
sure Tom is going to get asked about this a lot in the build up to this fight with Blades. It's something that a lot of people want to see. Even Anthony Joshua wants to see him in boxing, apparently.
yeah. So
Like what do you make of this when you look at the guys that you train with and then you see a guy like Alex Pereira and the skill set that he brings. Do you think he would have success in the heavyweight division? I feel like the big question that hangs over anything Alex Pereira does is, oh well, what if someone could take him down? And when I look at someone like you and Tom, I'm just like, I feel like that's a lot of size. I know he's a big guy, but that is a big
Yeah,
jump to
it's
give
a lot
up
of different
size
size.
wise.
I think he's amazing. He just keeps taking these fights and not everybody out. He hits so high. He probably could definitely hit as hard as heavyweight, knock any heavyweight out in the world. I think you knock anybody out, but maybe he's be a little bit more different. Like I said, his defensive wrestling's actually looking good, but with a bigger guy, it's a lot harder. So it might be a bit harder for him to get a bigger guy off on top of him. He might come up and get huge. He's still got a big frame for it. I definitely think he's dangerous in the striking, and his style is like awkward as well. The way he has his hands and the way he kicks, like no one would ever get taught that. I don't think in the gym that works for him
Yeah.
so good. But yeah, the bigger guys, maybe I don't know if he's that confident as well. He would just walk the big guys down and just think, I'm knocking you out. Or if he'd be a bit more, oh, I don't want to get took down by these guys. I don't know how his mindset is, but I definitely feel he could do good and he could definitely knock a lot out. But like you said, a big guy on top of him could maybe he's wearing him down a little bit and stuff like that. But he is amazing. And I think Tom would love that fight. I think it's a massive fight for anybody at the moment to fight him. Looks like Tom's trying to get these big fights and they're like sort of passing him by a bit with nobody really want to fight him. I think he'd love to jump the chance of Pereira. He's definitely dangerous. I definitely think he can knock anybody out. But I do think Tom is definitely faster than him, and then his grappling is probably a lot better than him. So I think I would favour Tom heavily in that fight. But I think it'll be a great matchup for Tom, and I think everybody want to see it. But I also know that Jones might get him as well. I don't know. Jones seems to just get what he wants as well. How popular he is. So I think Pereira. I don't know who they'll give him next. I don't know. I think he says they want to fight light heavyweight again. I think Goliath been calling him out, but stylistically he's a hard fight for him too.
Mm.
But if he knocks Goliath out, everyone he's amazing. He is. He's knocked out a wrestler and he's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, either way, it's going to be exciting to see. You kind of referenced that earlier as well when we are talking about kind of the size discrepancy, how that might affect him. When you said about training with some of these big guys who, as long as they've got, like a little bit of a grasp of grappling and
Yeah.
stuff like that, that's a better body for you to be training with than a guy that's smaller but is an elite martial artist in a way, because it's just a different game at that level. It's something that Curtis Blade spoke about as well when he beat Gelton Almeida. I found it fascinating the way he was breaking down how he used his wrestling and how he anticipated Almeida's takedowns and kind of used his size more than any, even though he's this great wrestler, he used his size more than anything to stop him from getting taken down. Of course, Curtis Blade's interesting problem for your teammate Tom Aspinall, co-main event of UFC 304. It's going to be absolutely huge. How do you see Tom getting on in this fight? I mean, we got to see like 15 seconds of it last time, so there's like nothing really to gain from that. So I'm super excited for this one.
Again, I think on paper, stylistically, he's probably the hardest fight for Tom in the division, just from being more of a grappler, and maybe try to take Tom down. But then I do say this to everybody: he's so fast when he gets in there, like being able to take him down, and then people maybe saying, "Oh, what happens if he gets in the later rounds and stuff like that?" He's so fit; he does 5 rounds, and he's a proper athlete. Tom, he doesn't slow down; he just keeps going. He's amazing. But getting hold of him, catching him is the main thing. I don't think Curtis Blades will be able to get a hold of him and take him down and wear on him. Like, realistically, Curtis might be like, I would have thought he would try and take Tom down and pin him, get him a bit tired and stuff like that. But then Curtis's blade striking's decent as well, stuff like that. But then I think Tom will just be too quick for him. I think the way he moves is just, it's something you can't replicate either. Like, I've trained with him now, but I don't think you'll get what he is anywhere else in the world. Even training with pro boxers and that, he moves so different to them as well for a big guy. So I think he's hard to spar with. And I think people get in there with him. I know Blade's been with that for 10 seconds, so he's felt a little bit of the speed. But you get in there when he's faking a move and you're like, oh, God, he's so fast and he's hitting you from mad angles and mad ranges that you don't expect to get hit from, or something I've definitely not seen before in MMA. So I do think I would, like, it could go past the first round. I wouldn't be surprised, but I also would see Tom just, like, not him straight out. I think he does everybody else. He just touches them and, like, they haven't seen him, stuff like that. That's a great fight. And then maybe he's hopefully... Maybe Cyril Gane or something next for him would be a great stylistically fight for him. Maybe he's get some hype behind that because I think he'll just keep beating everybody. I don't think Jones will fight him just with the injury time he had off. He fights Stipe. I don't think it's a really hard fight when you can have easier fights for more money as well. So I understand why he's doing it, and then I don't know who else Tom can fight after beating Blades apart from Cyril. So maybe he's pushed that, or maybe he's like it's a Pereira. Maybe he'll get that super fight for him, which would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure whatever it's going to be huge. Fingers crossed he keeps hold of that belt, and then I hope that
Yeah,
he is front row to watch John Jones and Stipe. Um,
yeah.
just I'm with you. I don't think it's going to happen, but I feel like I don't know. There's part of me that kind of hopes that John Jones is too much of a competitor and he can't let it go. You know?
Well, it's a lot of it. I see a lot of stuff on Instagram and commenting and that, so he must be
Yeah,
watching still. He's watching it, but yeah, maybe he might feel amazing if he beat if he beats Steve. I know Steve hasn't trained, but he's still a hard fight. If he beats Steve, yeah, maybe he thinks, oh, I feel amazing, I can do it again. But just with his pushing on a bit, he's done everything now. He's had so many fights. I could see him retiring, but like I said, the UFC might offer him crazy money. He might fight him, but then again, Jones might side with fighting Pereira. He might like that
yeah,
fight better.
yeah, yeah.
So
It seemed to
it's
be
hard for Tom, but all Tom can do is keep winning. Really, that's all he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that Tom, kind of said it himself that his legacy isn't necessarily defined by John Jones. So
No,
I
I think
think
it's
that
just the fact. It's just I think everybody's who's anybody realised how good John Jones was. They want to fight them and stuff like
mhm,
that. But I do think it's also a bit of a lose-lose for Jones. I think if he beats him, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, you beat him. Who's not that good." Like he was one day, it was like all hype and stuff like that. He hasn't fought anybody good. And then I think if Tom beats Jones, people are like, "Oh, well, Jones passed it and stuff like that." So I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I don't think what it does out for him. But again, if he beats him, like if he come and beat Tom, it'll be amazing for his career. But I think he's beat that many killers and stuff like that, and maybe he's this all why he's thinking, done it all now. I just want the money.
yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
don't I don't
it's
know. I don't know what he's thinking. He might still be training absolutely amazing and stuff like that. He might just want, like you say, kill everybody. I don't know. I hope it comes off for Tom. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I think that a lot of people would probably say that Tom's the toughest matchup for him right now. So, yeah, as much as I really want to see it, if I was in John Jones's camp, I don't know if I'd be wanting to see it that much. I think I'd be saying, let's fight Alex Pereira, maybe
Yeah.
let's fight Stipe, and we'll go from there. But we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. UFC 304, July 27th. You're back. Tom Aspinall is back. Modestas Bakauskas, new member of the team as of late, also back. Stoked for this card, mate, and I appreciate your time, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right, thank you, mate. All the best with it, and we'll catch up with you soon after.
Yeah. Cheers, man. Thank you.